Hi, everyone. Welcome to the MultiDimensional MD. I'm Dr. Arlene Dijamco, and I'm an integrative physician, a pediatrician, and a cranial osteopath. Today, I want to talk about liver congestion. Why? Because it's so relevant right now. There's so much anger and frustration in the world. And spring is also approaching. So, we're also seeing a lot of spring allergies, and it's also a great time for cleansing. So, I want to go through what the liver does, what liver congestion is, how the liver can get congested, what are the signs and symptoms of liver congestion, how can you diagnose it, and what can you do to help your liver if it is congested. And we're going to talk about this from a multi-dimensional perspective. So I'm going to add my take on it as well. So, the first thing is, what is the role of the liver? The liver has over 500 vital functions. And we don't necessarily think about it that much. I know people associate the liver with digesting alcohol, but aside from that, it's not necessarily like common knowledge what the liver does. So the liver is on the right side of the body under the rib cage. So it's nice and protected there. Your rib cage helps to protect some of those important internal organs. It's also a reddish brown organ because it has a huge blood supply. It contains about 13% of your body's total blood supply. And it gets the blood from two main sources. One is through the hepatic vein, which comes from your digestive tract, and then one is from the hepatic artery, which is more oxygen-rich blood. So the hepatic vein is also this nutrient-rich blood, and your liver. We're going to go through 10 of the main functions of the liver because I don't think I have time today to go through 500. So let's go through 10. So, number one, your liver helps to filter the blood that's coming from your digestive tract. And it does that in a variety of ways. It detoxifies that blood from the digestive tract and from the arterial hepatic artery. And it does that by producing bile. It also converts poisonous ammonia to urea. And that bile also helps to process fats. So your liver is really important in digestion. It helps to break down fats and metabolize chemicals and drugs. So this is part of the detoxification. So fats can actually hold on to a lot of toxins. So it's really important to be able to turn that over. And the bile helps to carry that waste away and also helps to digest that fat coming from the intestines. The liver also helps to digest carbohydrates. So if you have excess sugar or glucose in your system, then it's going to store that glucose away as glycogen. So it helps to metabolize and to process and to store things. The liver also helps to balance protein levels and balance the levels of the little tiny building blocks called amino acids, which are the basic building blocks for proteins. It helps to build cholesterol, which is needed for the production of hormones and the production of bile that is also producing, and vitamin D, which functions as a hormone. So you can see that we already have so many liver functions that we're going through here. Nine, I think I've gone through eight. Nine, it produces proteins for clotting and other purposes. So if your liver's not up to par, then you're more likely to bleed easily. It also stores iron and helps to process the hemoglobin for its iron content, and it helps to create immune factors like gamma globulin and helps clear bacteria from the bloodstream. So, to sum it up, your liver is really important for digestion, for detoxification, for producing proteins and helping to produce hormones. And it's important for the immune function. So, we need the liver for so many reasons. And when your liver is not functioning so well, then you can get liver congestion. So, just like nasal congestion, stuffiness, inflammation, extra fluid, and swelling. So your liver congestion is the same way, sluggishness, extra fluid, and swelling. So the blood flowing through the liver can be more sluggish, and remember, it has those two main sources of blood flow, and that the health is really in the flow. So when things slow down, it doesn't actually function physiologically as well either. Liver disease has also been rising over the decades, and even when I was in my pediatric residency 2 decades ago, we were already seeing record numbers of kids with fatty liver disease, and the older pediatricians then said that they hadn't seen that before, and they weren't really sure what to do about it. That's very interesting. They knew it was a problem, but they weren't sure what to do about it except for, to say to eat healthier. So we're going to talk about things that you can do about it in a little bit. And although liver congestion in the extreme can be more severe illness like cirrhosis, or if you have right-sided heart disease, the blood can back up and create pressure on the liver and create liver cirrhosis. So those are more severe forms. But for integrative holistic medicine, I really want to teach you to notice the signs of liver congestion before things start to run away. I want you to notice where things are smoldering. So, those smoldering signs where things are brewing before there's a full blown fire, because it's so much easier to manage and help things get better when it's just smoldering. Like, think of a candle flame. You could blow that out versus the whole house on fire. Takes a little bit more to get it out, and it creates a lot of damage in the process of the fire and also extinguishing it. So it's very important that you understand what the signs of health are, not just the signs of illness. And we are going to talk about like those smaller signs that may not necessarily register as like full-blown liver disease, but this is why I call it liver congestion, not necessarily like cirrhosis or those and later stages of liver disease. Sorry, I forgot to switch that there. What is liver congestion? Okay, number 3. What are the symptoms of liver congestion? So remember the functions of your liver. One, it helps to detoxify. So when the liver is overwhelmed, then other organs in the body are going to need to help it to detoxify. And one of the main organs for that is going to be the skin. We don't always think about the skin as an organ, but it is a very big organ with a large surface area. So you can see skin rashes, including acne, brown spots, itchiness, so more tendency to have like hives, allergic kind of reactions. You can also get liver congestion, so you can get that backup of congestion throughout your body, because remember, the lymphatics drain congestion, and when your liver is not able to help with that and would help to detoxify, then the lymph system also has to um, gets overwhelmed, and then you can get that nasal congestion, puffy eyes, inflammation, really anywhere in the body. Sometimes I'll tell people, you can see it in your eyelids or those baggy eyes. Like if your eyelids start to feel kind of heavy, and I'm not talking about like when you're as you're getting older, although that can happen with it. But a lot of times I'm seeing people go for cosmetic procedures, and it's really because they have inflammation in the body. And what if you understood how to reduce that inflammation? Then you could feel good from the inside out. You could have more energy. Your skin could be more clear. You wouldn't necessarily have like those bags under your eyes or that puffiness in the upper lid. So it looks like what's what people complain about when they wake up and they're like, oh, my eyes are puffy when they wake up. Or when after you cry, your eyes get puffier. So sometimes it could have a hint of that if you have more congestion in your body. You can also have blood sugar imbalances. So remember, it helps to process and digest sugar, processes it into glycogen if there's too much. You could get brain fog because you're like overloaded with like chemicals and toxins and things you need to get rid of, but now you're not able to. And so that can affect your mood. You can also be irritable, feel down, um, angry and frustrated, have mood swings. You can feel really stressed and tired, maybe getting like tension headaches. Your digestion may not be up to par in many different ways. So remember, the liver helps to digest fats, proteins, carbohydrates. So your digestion won't be as great. So you might feel like you get indigestion more easily, or lots of things make you bloat, or maybe you're not moving your bowels like you want to. You can get aches or pains in the body, whether in muscle aches or joint aches or swelling, and that's related to a lot of different illnesses. And you could just feel sluggish in general. So, liver congestion, sluggish liver, sluggish life. So, what makes the liver congested? Well, if you think about the things that we were talking about, what the liver does, it detoxifies. So, if you are overloading yourself with toxins, chemical exposures from a variety of ways, whether through the environment, so pesticides, or through the food, we need so much detoxification when we eat. So you want to make sure your food is cleaner. That will just help your liver out. You just want to be nice to your body because yeah, sure, you can digest those things, but then your liver has to work really hard. And you might see you can get away with that when you're younger, and then over the years, it starts to catch up to you. So if you're wondering why some kids are like, well, they can eat like lots of junk food, doesn't seem to affect them. Well, over the years, it can. And then there's also lots of very sensitive kids that are affected more easily than others. So to keep that in mind, and adults too. So adults might some adults need more help detoxifying than others. And so it's that and exposure to chemicals, whether food or environment, and then also unhealthy eating, and also just being healthy in general. So, not if you have a sluggish life, then your liver can also be sluggish. So you can see it mirrors each other. So sluggish liver, sluggish life. So where can you get some more movement in your life so that liver can also get some more movement in it? So you're starting to get the idea what makes the liver congested. And in terms of other chemicals and things, medications, if you're on a lot of medications and may need more help with processing them, something to keep in mind because if, as we talk about helping the liver, then I want to mention that, just give you a heads up. But also, if you're taking a lot of supplements, the liver has to help digest many things, and more is not necessarily better. So when I talk to people about supplements, I really try to trim it down and get them healthier in other ways too, so they're not so reliant on taking so many supplements. One, it's like so many things to swallow, and then it's taking up room in their bellies away from more nutritious foods. Supplements can be so helpful. I use them tons, but it's finding that nice balance of what do you need and not overdoing it. Because in TCM, they understand that as well. TCM is traditional Chinese medicine, that the liver needs to help process vitamins and minerals and supplements. And so that was the first time I had heard of it was from a TCM practitioner. And he said, be careful with vitamins because it's harder for the liver to digest. And you may find that for yourself too. So some people are a little bit more sensitive to supplements. So that's why it's like we try more to get it through whole foods if it's possible. So how can you diagnose liver congestion? Well, one is clinically, so through those signs and symptoms that we talked about. Two is through doing some lab work, but a lot of times I find these early stages, that smoldering doesn't necessarily always get picked up on lab work, although if you do more extended lab work, then it may be more likely to. But I don't always rely on lab work to know if the liver is congested. Three, you could do it through osteopathically. So I'm a cranial osteopath, and I can feel the liver and feel if it feels congested. And even when it's like more smoldering kind of congestion, because if you're like further down the road and the liver is very swollen, then you're going to feel it peeking underneath that rib cage. It's not usually supposed to do that. So you can, and various kinds of practitioners could be able to feel the liver in some way. And then you can also feel it like energetically through, if you're an acupuncturist or a TCM practitioner, or through other kinds of like medical or health practices that take into account like the energetic. So there's a variety of ways that you can diagnose it, but you probably have a hint if you have it or not just by the things that I talked about earlier. And then what are the emotions related to the liver? So I told you some earlier, you could be moody. So anger is the quintessential emotion of the liver. Frustration, irritability, resentment, jealousy. And so I feel like those are a lot of the emotions that are in the world right now. And that's why I really want to bring it up, because we can address these things. But first, it takes that consciousness of being able to see it, right? To know how we are feeling, to know how we are behaving, so that we could possibly shift it and help process those emotions. Because when the liver is healthy and not congested, then you can feel like more vibrant, you can have more energy, but the liver creates a lot of things, so it can help with that creative process. It can help with energy. And if you think about anger is sometimes like this wanting to give like momentum for things, so you can have that flow and momentum without the negativity of anger and resentment, and you can move through life and digest life more easily. Wouldn't that be great to digest life regardless of like all the different things that we go through more easily? And then the last thing I want to talk about is, what can you do about liver congestion? Then right there. Okay. What can you do about liver congestion? So many things, which is why I'm so glad you're here today with me. And these are a lot of things that I help people with. And I'm going to tell you, before I end this, I want to tell you this really amazing story um, about liver congestion. So, okay, one, I told you avoiding toxins. Two, eating clean. So if you go to, just avoid the dirty dozen, just Google dirty dozen, and you can, if you buy those organic, then you are avoiding most of the chemical or pesticides in your food. Avoiding chemicals in your food in general. So that includes like artificial preservatives, food dyes, additives, getting more fiber in the diet. So um, we talk about in food, Edgar Casey talks about this a lot, as the vegetables as being the builders. So remember, um, the liver helps digest everything like carbohydrates, proteins, fats. So vegetables, you need the nutrients to build things. And then fruits tend to be more the cleansers. They have more fiber. Some veggies have more fiber too, and you can get fiber from a variety of ways. So you're helping your body, you're eating clean, and you're helping your body detox. You can also get some more antioxidants. And so things like really colorful things like carrots, beet juice, or beets. And what's interesting is that those beets are kind of that dark reddish color, and it sort of reminds you of the liver. So it's fascinating because so many times that happens in nature, that the way the herb or the food looks reminds you of its function in the body. So that's just like a neat aside there. Apple cider vinegar is so great for a couple of reasons. One, that the apple cider helps to soften liver bile and help. So by softening, it helps it flow better. So remember, sluggish, congestion, more stasis, more stagnant flow. Apple cider vinegar help with that flow, help smooth out that liver, the bile, and get it moving. The apple cider vinegar also has probiotics in it, which can help with your digestion. So put a splash of apple cider vinegar in dressings, or I like to take it first thing in the morning in some warm water, and that helps to get me going. Milk thistle herb to help your body detoxify. It's a very gentle herb. You can take it in many different supplement forms. You can take it as a tea. And other things such as glutathione, which is your body's major antioxidant. So don't forget, in terms of like medications, acetaminophen or Tylenol, or what is it called in England? Paracetamol. Um, it actually bottoms out your glutathione in your body, and your glutathione is your body's major antioxidant. So your liver really needs it to help it detoxify. It also needs sulfur compounds to help in the detoxification process. So in the foods, that's going to be your onions, garlic, cruciferous veggies like broccoli and kale. So try to get some sort of sulfur food if you can. I know some people are a little sensitive to that, but if you can get it through the diet, you can eat those things. You can also take glutathione, but talk to your healthcare practitioner about that, because glutathione can be somewhat stimulating. So I like to use it wisely. You can get some healthy fats in your diet, so wild salmon, almonds, chia seeds, because you need to turn over the fat in your body. Again, fat holds on to toxins, so you want to make sure that you have a source of healthier fats to replace that fat, and the liver can help process it and make bile with it. And again, did I mention this earlier? The liver produces cholesterol, so that's used to make bile, hormones, and vitamin D. So when you have healthy fats, then the bile is able to carry more toxins out of your body. You can also do castor oil liver packs, and you can take some flannel or an old cotton t-shirt, cut it up into 4 layers, get some nice sticky castor oil, just soak it, squeeze it out, wrap it around that right side, including that rib cage, because that's where your liver is. You can just wrap something around it that, like an old plastic bag or garbage bag, or even saran wrap. I know we're trying not to use plastic, or they have these new liver pack things that you can buy that are reusable. You can just Google for them, or I'll leave a link in the comments or down below in the details for that, where you can wrap around the castor oil. Then you put a heat source on pack, leave it on for about 45 minutes. You can do that as often as you want. It helps to soften your liver, get it decongested, and help get things moving. I know I'm going so fast here, but there's so many things to talk about. So I hope these are helpful for you. Another thing is that a period of fasting can just help give your liver a break, so it's not always constantly detoxifying things. And we are actually supposed to have a period of fasting every day, even if you're not doing what's called intermittent fasting. It's supposed to be built into your day because there's an overnight fast. So this is part of the reason why it's not great to eat right before you go to bed, because it's nice to have like at least a 12-hour period where you're not eating, give the liver a break, let it rest so it can help reset. And see, when you're doing these things periodically, then you can maintain the liver, or you can help it sooner before it gets really congested, and then you're starting to see more of those signs of liver disease that a regular medical physician can pick up on. Don't wait for that. we want to put the flame out when it's smoldering, that small candle versus that big fire. So this is your motivation. Oh, also exercise helps your liver because even just walking, because it's constantly massaging those internal organs. And remember sluggishness. So if you give it a massage, it helps things move. And you can't really go in there. It's internal organs. You can't really massage it. So you need some movement. And really, so many different kinds of exercise can help your liver. The main thing is more the consistency of it. So sluggish life, sluggish liver, get moving, get your liver moving. You starting to see the theme here, and you can just start to think about the issues at hand, and then you know the solutions. So it's so interesting. This is how our body really speaks to us, and it really helps you. So you don't have to think about those signs and symptoms as scary. It's your liver speaking to you. It's your body speaking to you, and then you know what to do. You see how helpful that is when you look at the symptoms as not scary, but messages from your body, then you know what to do, especially once you start to understand the roles of the different organs or just you hear it out metaphorically. So remember, the liver holds on to anger, resentment, jealousy, frustration, bitterness. When you have that, when just realize that you need a way to process this in a healthy way. What's not healthy? Yelling at your family and friends, yelling at people, getting angry and bursting for for small reasons. So it's okay. We've been there. And the world is kind of angry right now. So that's why it's really important to talk about this. I did another podcast on how to let your scream out. So go check that out. I'll try to put it right here later on, and get your scream out in healthy ways. So check that out for more ways to help your liver out. And I hope that really helped you today. We will put the timestamps on here so you can review the information if you forgot anything. And thank you so much for joining me today. It's Dr. Arlene Dijamco, the MultiDimensional MD. Please subscribe, like, comment, let me know where you're from. And if you want to follow me, you can on Instagram at All Worlds Health, Facebook at All Worlds Health and Pediatrics, on my website, allworldshealth.com. So much love to you. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will see you next week, 11 a.m. EST Wednesday, for another episode of the MultiDimensional MD. See you next time. Bye.